Hey everybody, this is Chris Reinhardt, and I'm here just to report again on a few more activities I was able to experience this past week and share with. And so these will be my activities 7 through 10 for our practicum course this spring. The first activity I'd like to report on, I was able to attend our Plainville USD monthly board meeting for February. And so I was able to go to the meeting and just basically sit in and kind of listen and hear what was going on. Some of the positives or successes I felt that came from this experience, I was able to just observe our board members in action. And it was interesting just to hear what they had to say in regards to some items that were being addressed during the meeting, and to kind of just get their opinion and intake on some of the things. But it was rewarding to hear also to our board members speak really strongly about our district, and really just be strong advocates for really what's best for students. In fact, I heard that phrase come from many of them all throughout the night. Many of them say, let's do what's best for kids, or they'd ask the question of, you know, um, how many kids will this, impact, and what will be the result of doing different things. And so there was just a common theme all throughout the meeting that I felt that was just constantly sticking out, and in some way, form or other, it all boiled down to, again, just addressing the question of what's best for kids. And so, hearing that through even some of our courses that we've taken through Fort Hays, through just different experiences that I have as a teacher within our district. I've heard that, I've seen that so much just within the last several months, and again, just here it is, and here it is in our boardroom, in the board meeting, and people and the community members who serve on our board, aren't necessarily in our halls on a daily basis, but yet they still are on the same page and still have the same vision of just doing the things that need to be done, what's best for kids. So it was really neat to see that. Some of the negatives or failures, that I guess would come from this experience is that there were times I was just kind of lost in some of the discussion on a few items, and it really just made me realize that I need to spend some time catching up and polishing up on some of the reading and some of the items that pertaining to the business side, I guess, of a school district. A lot of just different terms, and right now I can't really necessarily think of them off the top of my head, but I just do remember thinking, they're just different things that I thought, okay, I need to make sure I'm staying on top of a few of these things, and understanding again just all the ins and outs of the school district, and the financial sides of things, and just everything that really comes to bring a school district, put all the pieces together for a school district. In reflection, again, I think the most memorable, perhaps the one thing that stood out to me the most, was just how positive our board members spoke again in terms of our district and teachers, and the successes the students were able to have, and that they were making throughout the year. And again, these are community members that really do have a heart for kids and our school system, and positive decision making that is leaning towards just that vision of learning. And again, just it was just completely rewarding and completely neat to see that common theme of addressing what's best for kids. I think this probably best fits under IS LLC Standard 1, an education leader promotes the success of every student by facilitating the development, articulation, and implementation and stewardship of vision of learning that is shared and supported by all stakeholders. And again, just taking part in those board meetings and understanding, again, everything that takes place, even behind the doors, I guess, so to speak. The next task that I took part in, there was actually a particular day where I was serving as the acting principal, or the acting person in charge, so to speak. Our administrator was off campus again for a few hours, and so I was put in charge. And of course, we had to address an issue then within that short window of time frame that he was gone, and so I stepped up and took took part in what I felt was the actions and things that needed to be taken care of to address our issue. And again, not to get too specific on names or different things that took place, but um, we had a particular a child that was actually putting some of his classmates in chokeholds, and it definitely there was a substitute in the classroom at the time, and the substitute didn't feel like she was able to stop the student. She was constantly warning them throughout the day, and the student was just refusing to listen, and so it was an incident that was happening on numerous occasions on that particular day. It just so happened that this student has a parent who works there at the school. She's a para, and so once I was informed of our issue, I just immediately went down and grabbed the student from class, and also went and grabbed mom, who was just a few doors down the hallway, and just invited them down to the principal's office, and we had our little student discipline parent meeting to address and discuss our issue. Some positive successes I felt came from this was I was able to bring both again the mother and the child in and address the issue, and it was handy to have a parent right then and there that we could grab real quickly. The mother was completely aware of the child's misbehavior at school. She had said she had addressed not particularly the chokeholding incidences, but just a number of other different things that the child's done, and so she was completely understanding that that she was not she was, I guess what you could say, she just wasn't surprised. She knew that her child was capable of doing this thing, and she was very supportive of the decisions that I made to get her and the child right then and there, and come to a meeting about it. And also too, again, I feel like the issue was addressed in a timely manner. The substitute immediately reported it to me. I was able to drop what I was doing and take care of the issue that needed to be taken care of, the more important issue, and that, because having a student put others in chokeholds is definitely something you want to stop immediately. Some of the negative failures, looking back, I don't know if I really covered all the sources of people that were involved. After a day or two, I come to find out that there were some other children involved in the incident, and that information necessarily wasn't given to me at the time. And so, I guess thinking back, I really should have maybe just dug a little bit deeper into the situation. There were some other names that were mentioned in regards to some of the third graders in the class, but again, I felt like maybe I should have just followed up more with the substitute and things, and also too, I felt like I could have done some more follow up too with other parents as well, if I had known the other students that were involved in the incident. In reflection, overall, I was able to bring, I think, the issue to a closure, or at least for the remainder of the day, and the students were safe and free from harm from any other chokeholds. And again, I think if I was the principal in the situation, I'd continue the observations and check in with the teacher and monitor the situation, on a pretty daily basis anyway. My discussion I had with the child, with the mom right there with me, was, I was pretty straightforward, pretty deliberate in the case, and made sure that the child understood that absolutely under no circumstances was, placing other children in chokeholds was appropriate or safe, and that something like that could be extremely dangerous in so many different cases and so many different I don't know, it just, again, it was something that just it needed to be stopped. And the third grader, I think it was clear that he, after our meeting, understood fully. He had some tears coming down, and so I think I definitely got down to the heart of the issue, and as from what I've heard, I haven't heard of any other cases or having this happen again since then. So I guess I was able to make an impact and solve the problem. I feel like this probably falls under Standard 6. The educational leader promotes the success of every student by understanding, responding, and influence to the political, social, economical, legal, and cultural context. Again, just making sure that children are safe and taking care of different disciplinary actions that need to be done. Another very similar type issue. Again, it just seemed like I had a lot of different scenarios, this involving kids and involving some situations that, you know, in a lot of ways were just not good. It was definitely my week, I guess, to learn about just how ugly different situations for kids can get so very quickly. This particular case or incident involved a sixth grade student who was just struggling with some mental and physical health concerns. And so looking back on this or this particular activity, I think our positives because of our advocacy for the student's health. This child is seeking some counseling now, at least once a week, which has been extremely good. It's been something that's been talked about for a long time, and just nothing has been done, and things pretty much reached the mark where it had to be. And so I was in part of that decision making, and both as a teacher and as an educational leader within our district. So too. Another positive, although under a very watchful eye from all the teachers, this particular student, now is showing signs of improvement in behavior. Now that he is seeking some counseling, we are seeing some changes. But yet, we still don't. Again, it's just not everything is where it needs to be for him, and he's still got a long road ahead of him. He's got some things he's needed to cover. Some negatives and failures. We as a staff, we're all seeing signs of self-inflicted physical abuse before thing was done, and my personal opinion is that we should have intervened much sooner, and it came down to where it was very dangerous self-inflicted physical abuse. And again, like I mentioned, our student isn't healed. Chances are the SRS will probably remove our child from the home, as I guess we're predicting. Of course, we don't know until further notice. But again, that option's not always bad, and this may be something for this child. This may not be such a bad thing. This particular case turned, from bad to ugly in a flash. How quickly things can escalate from poor behavior choices to self-inflicted physical abuse. We can never be too sure that the students we serve in our district are safe, stable, and free from harm. So I, as a principal, need to know that the kids, I need to know the families in order to make sure that they are safe, and that what could be a life-saving decision for a child could mean, could mean everything to them. The other, number 10, the activity that also I was a part of, again, just another situation involving students. And this was a particular student who was with us last year, and the parents had pulled him out to move to a different district, and just through a number of different poor choices really on the parents' part, the students found themselves in just a terrible situation. And so really their grandparents are their acting guardians at the moment, and Grandma had brought her in today to get her re-enrolled and get her back into our district, and she wanted to have a meeting, and I was able to take part in that as well. We're both, again, kind of playing two roles as a previous teacher, but also, again, to be in the leadership position of the situation. And really this one is pretty just straightforward. The positives I feel coming from this, I've established a strong rapport with the student and with the grandparent, both within and with outside the school. And already I could see just in an instant that this has made for an easy transition for the students enrolling back into our district. They welcomed me with a smile today, and it just you knew that they were things were headed in the right direction for them again, and it just made me feel good. Really, honestly, I just can't think of any other negatives or failures that came from this. I think the kids are just, they need to be rescued from this situation, and bringing them back to our district is going to be a great thing. In reflection, it's just amazing again how important schools are to kids, and just not for the academic purposes. It's plain to see just how strong an advocate schools need to be and must be for students who are caught in the circumstances of their parents' poor decision making. As an acting principal, you not only need to place in motion the gears for a successful learning environment, but also for a safe and caring atmosphere for students who don't always know, where they're going to sleep from night to night. And that's such an eye-opening experience again, what some of our students go through once they leave our doors. This particular case I'm going to relate back to Standard 4. An educational leader promotes the success of every student by collaborating with faculty and community members and responding to diverse community interests and needs. specifically under the function of building and sustaining positive relationships with families and caregivers. Thank you.